What is up, winning team? Hello and welcome back to our series on David versus Saul, fear of God versus fear of man, pride versus the humble. You guys know about this. We're in 1 Samuel. We're in chapter 23. We're about to start 23. To give you a little backstory, if you don't know what this is all about while we're doing this, guys, there's a full introduction in the playlist linked in the description box below that also has all the other videos we've been doing. Isn't it crazy that we still haven't got to the part where David became king? Let's start with that as a starting thought. This is just a message to you all out there who are concerned in life, maybe because of your experiences or lack thereof, maybe because of your age. You feel like you've come so far in life, you've lived so long, you're older, you feel like you should have more figured out by now, or you feel like you're at a point in your life that how could there be anything else left, major. Throw those things all out, right? Because God has a process, and with all the people of God, they usually go through a process before they get to, whatever we know them as. All these people of the Bible, even Joseph, we saw he had to be thrown in the ditch, he had to become a slave, a prisoner, all these things before he was the Joseph we now know him to be. Similar with David, he's had a whole bunch of story arcs already, and we still haven't got to the point where he's king. So just let that be a sign to you all that no matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you have or haven't achieved, no matter what level of skills you think you do or don't have, no matter how old you are, whether you're the youngest and you're young, super young, or you feel like you're old, listen, if you're still breathing, if there is still oxygen in your lungs right now, the Lord ain't finished with you. Because if he was finished with you, there wouldn't be oxygen up in them lungs. You feel me? So let's get straight into it. We're in verse 23. The last thing that had happened from where we were, David has gone in the escape, and Saul is searching after him. Saul then finds him and basically discovers that, wait a whole minute, you mean to tell me there's been people helping you along the way, and now you got now you got Excalibur, not Excalibur, I'm kidding, but the sword of Goliath he's acquired along the way. This was like, really, life really is like a game, because I'm sure this is like a game. He's just all of a sudden acquired, come back, and happened to go to the place where they happened to be keeping the sword that was Goliath's. Isn't that just so funny? It reminds me of playing games. But anyway, and he's managed to acquire the sword. He's met all these people of God who are so happy with him and whatever. But Saul is fuming because he's like, why are you guys protecting this guy? And why is everybody protecting him? Like, why are you guys going against me? Like, what the hell? And then he just kills them all, basically, which we've been talking about, how Saul being so consumed in his pride and in his hatred, his jealousy almost of David, because of course it all started when the women were like, and Saul killed 1,000 and David 10,000. And I think that's when all the screws went out for poor old Saul. And so we see that basically from that point onwards, yeah, bro was not in a good space. Bro was not in a good space. And we now find ourselves with Saul, who is completely consumed in his jealousy. And so obviously, like I've said to you guys before, as we've been saying through this whole series, jealousy almost always leads to death, because the jealous person somehow thinks that killing that other person is going to solve something. So yeah, that's where we left off. And one of the remaining last kids of one of the priests, David had taken in under his wing, and he was like, don't worry, stay with me, I'll look after you. And it's all very sad, because all these people stood up for David because they saw him doing nothing wrong. They even defended David to Saul. And this is, again, what I say is what is so, so detrimental about us protecting people that shouldn't be protected. This is why I'm talking about a lot of this stuff. It doesn't help us to protect those who, in the body of Christ, especially leaders, if they are not right with the Lord, it is not good for us to protect them, because then there are casualties that come along with that who don't deserve it. And so that really upset me. Anyways, let's go to we're in chapter 23. Now they told David, behold, the Philistines are fighting against Keilah and are robbing the threshing floors. So I don't know where Keilah is. Therefore David inquired of the Lord, shall I go and attack the Philistines? So notice that. Again, fear of God, fear of man. First things first, what does David do? God, what do I do? Do I need to go and intervene, or is this not for me? Let's take lessons from David here. I've said this to you guys before. One of the biggest issues I think that what people have in the body of Christ is You pray to the Lord. You wonder why God's not answering your prayers or why God's not doing certain things, but it's because you've included him when you're already at like step 12. And he's like, you should have inquired me about if you should have even taken step 1. So you make step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 by yourself. You get to 12, can't do it alone. Oh, God, please, Lord, I need you to help me with this. He's like, but you didn't even inquire me about if this is even the steps you should take. This is the pathway. You didn't even inquire about me if you should be taking step 1. You know, so this is, again, David just showing why I believe God's saying he's a man after his own heart. He's after God's own heart, right? And the Lord said to David, go and attack the Philistines and save Keilah. But David's men said to him, behold, we are afraid here in Judah. How much more then if we go to Keilah against the armies of the Philistines? And David inquired of the Lord again. See, he goes back to the Lord. He's like, I'm not going to talk to you people. I'm not going to listen to the voice of the sheeple. I'm going to go straight to the Lord. Yes, you do, David. Then David inquired of the Lord, saying again, and the Lord answered, arise, go down to Keilah, for I will give the Philistines into your hand. And David and his men went to Keilah and fought with the Philistines and brought away their livestock and struck with them a great blow. So David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. Isn't it just so simplified when we just obey the first time? Like, this is what I'm saying. When we just actually follow the Lord and when we're doing what the Lord is doing and when we're on the path that the Lord has for us, it doesn't matter what's in front of us. I was talking about this when I just made a video about how there's giants in the promised land. When you have faith and a relationship with God, it doesn't matter what's in front of you. Whatever your destination is, you're going to get there. Whatever he's telling you you're going to get, you're going to get. So you just have to have the faith and trust in him and the relationship to say, God, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Because sometimes in life we suffer from things, sometimes because the Lord is allowing it for a reason. But sometimes it's because we're not even doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're out here crying, wondering, oh Lord, how comes this isn't looked after? This isn't paid for. This isn't this. He's like, you're not even supposed to be doing that. Do you see what I'm saying? Finally, verse 6. When Abiathar, the son of Ahimelech, had fled to David to Keilah, he had come down with an ephod in his hand. I can't remember what an ephod is. Let me check. Hold on. Ah, yes, it was a sleeveless garment that the priests wore. Where was I? In his hand, verse 7. Now it was told Saul that David had come to Keilah. Who's snitching to Saul, by the way? Probably the flipping jury of the sheep or the idiots, thinking they're doing something good. And Saul said, God has given him into my hand. And Saul said, what? God has given him into my hand, for he has shut himself in by entering a town that has gates and bars. He's blaspheming now. Now he's blaspheming. Can you guys see how that works? Now you're seeing it because Saul knows the truth. This is what I'm saying when I was talking about blasphemy. Blasphemers know that they're being blasphemous. That's what I believe. Otherwise, that would be unjust. How could God call you out for something you didn't know? The only way for God to be a just judge, you can only be in trouble for something you know you're doing. Here we see that Saul is being blasphemous. Oh my gosh. I did not expect for us. Saul, God has given him into my... Do you know how bold that is for you to boldly state that? God has given him into my hand. He knows full-blown well that's not the case. The only thing that God did in giving David to Saul is to give Saul somebody to play the liar for him, to help Saul have a break from the demon that God let torment Saul. So I don't know what this guy is talking about here, but that is blasphemy. That is blasphemy, guys. And this is what I'm saying. You know, when I said to you guys about how, like, I realized that the battle isn't like against, like the good versus the bad, whatever. It's literally the true versus the false, like the real versus the counterfeit. Because now it's going to be up to the jury of the sheeple. The jury of the sheeple are now going to be the ones who get to make the choice of, is God working in the hands of Saul or is God working in the hands of David? Because David's claiming to do things by the hands of God, and now Saul is also claiming things happening by the hands of God. So who's the jury of the sheeple going to believe now? And that's what I'm saying. Everything, the power's always with the people. The power's always with the people. Guys, listen, always. Right, here we go. I can't believe he said that. God has given him into my hand, for he has shut himself in by entering a town that has gates and bars. And Saul summoned all the people to go to war, to go down to Keilah to besiege David and his men. Can I also just point out for a second that what a waste of time as king? Like, does Saul as a king not have more important things to do? Like, you're a king. Surely you got a whole kingdom to run. You got kingly business, but you are off like a little child on a little tantrum, so obsessed with killing this guy out of jealousy. Like, it's actually embarrassing. Verse 9. David knew that Saul was plotting harm against him, and he said to Abiathar the priest, "Bring the ephod here." Then David said, "O Lord, the God of Israel, your servant shall surely heard that Saul seeks to come to Keilah to destroy the city on my account." He wants to destroy the whole city just because of David. "Will the men of Keilah surrender me into his hand? Will Saul come down as your servant has heard? O Lord, the God of Israel, please tell your servant." And the Lord said, "He will come down." Then David said, "Will the men of Keilah surrender me and my men in the hand of Saul?" And the Lord said, "They will surrender you." You see, the Lord. You see what I like about the Lord? The Lord. You see, this is where I'm just like, the Lord is one of those people. He does not going to tell you what you like to hear. He's not going to tell you what you'd like to hear. That's why I say the Lord is like a grown man. He's not going to tell you what you'd like to hear. He was going to tell you the truth, and it's up to you what you decide to do with said truth. And I respect that about him, because then when I go to the Lord, this is why I like talking to God, because he's just a matter of fact. He's not like trying to make things nice and nicey. Like, what is it? I just need to know what I'm dealing with. So just let me know. And that's how the Lord be with me. Sometimes I'll be like, "Lord, I'm really struggling with this. Is this going to be over by tomorrow?" He's like, "No." Okay. Oh, okay. Nope. Okay. Right. Verse 13. Then David and his men, who were about 600, arose and departed from Keilah, and they went wherever they could go. And when Saul was told that David had escaped from Keilah, he gave up the expedition. Oh, how pathetic. We'll come to that in a second. Before we come to that, I want to first of all point out that notice how David consistently is always checking in with the Lord, always checking in with the Lord, always checking in with the Lord, right? As to what to do. And so he now is concerned for the people of Keilah, because he doesn't want to, he knows what he's going through and he knows why he's experiencing what he is. He doesn't want to bring his mess to these lovely individuals. So my understanding here is he's trying to just understand, like, okay, obviously Saul's not going to give up. What's going to happen here? What's the situation? Okay, I'm going to take my business elsewhere. And he goes and does that. And I'm going to be prepared for war. He takes his men, etc. Lovely. Saul, on the other hand, looking like a buffoon. Because imagine you're this whole army marching and you've got Saul like, "And we will march into Keilah and we will just take the head of David and destroy the land before us." And then, sorry, Saul. Yeah. David's left to Keilah now. He's left to where? Yeah, he's left. And then Saul has to be like, so what had happened was, it's so interesting to read. So what had happened was, that was just a practice, right? What I was just saying just then, that was me just practicing for whatever the next expedition is going to be. We're not really going to why would we go to Keilah? Why would we go there? What's even the point? This was just I was just testing you guys. I just wanted to make sure you guys were ready. Anyway, verse 14. And David remained in the strongholds in the wilderness. Again, he's in the wilderness, having to hide in the wilderness, poor guy, in the hill country of the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul sought him every day, but God did not give him into his hand. And there's another important point there. And am I going to leave that there? I think I will leave that there so it doesn't get too long, because I'm trying to make the videos a bit shorter. It just goes to show that, that last verse there is key. And Saul sought him every day, but God did not give him into his hand. God did not give him into his hand. Listen, We, as the winners, always have the last laugh. That's the point. That's why being the jealous, bitter, loser, prideful person never ends well brings you to your own destruction every single freaking time, because you don't understand that if you're a child of the Lord, that no one can take your life a second, minute, hour, later, before, after, whenever you're supposed to die. That's what Jesus was doing with the same thing with Jesus and the Pharisees, the same like this. And you'll see it, and you'll say, such and such, and the Pharisees plotted to do this, and but his hour had not yet come. But the hour had not yet come. But the hour had not yet come. The moment was not there yet. So you can't do nothing. That's what the devil hates. Because that's why, again, even Jezebel, what's her thing? She wants to kill everybody. Because killing means it's done and dusted. As long as you're alive, there's a chance you give your life to the Lord at some point. Even if you walk with the devil for your whole life, there's a chance at the last second you give your life to God. Right? So he wants you dead as soon as possible. You know what I mean? Similar with Saul here. If David's dead, because he probably can tell now, with what he knows about the Lord and everything, that David is obviously, if we're all looking around the room, it's like, if there's who should we choose as king next? Like, elephant in the room, obviously David. Let's be so freaking for real right now. Even Jonathan's not even trying to aim for the throne. Jonathan's just happy to be here and happy to be best buddies with David. But you guys see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, this is why it's not even worth it. That's why I say, like, just get right with the Lord for yourself, whatever it is, because otherwise you're just going to be out here looking like an idiot, looking like a buffoon. That's why I say it again. Winners versus losers. The wise versus the fools. The fools. You know, the humble versus the proud. And on that note, if you guys want to see the rest of this playlist, you want to see more, you want to see what's happening, please come back and you will see, it will all be linked to the playlist below. I will be continuing in this. I don't know when we're going to finish. I think we're going to finish when David becomes king. Oh, I don't know, because if we end up going all the way to Solomon, this series is going to go on forever. I think we're going to finish off when David becomes king. And then, because, you know, we've got other things we have to do as well. There's so much Bible. We could do this all day. But yeah, so anyways, you guys, I hope you're enjoying this. Everything's linked in the description box below, including the intro. If this is the first one of these videos you'll be watching and you want to know more about this, why we're doing this, and catch up with everything that's happened up to here, because it's been a bit of a journey. For those of us who've been here, we know it's been very much of a journey. Other than that, you guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless every single one of you. And I want you guys to just keep remembering that I'm making these videos so that you guys have the opportunity to go to the Lord for yourself and go and study and understand these things. I want you guys to, you know, we want to have relationships like David. I very much relate to David's relationship with the Lord in the sense of like talking to him and going to him and trusting him, and him just somehow protecting you from things. And you're just like, I don't even know how, but you know, that's what I want for us all. And I want it to be strengthened, you know, and so that's why I'm doing this, to show you in 4K how this works, and why especially pride is the thing I'm really trying to come up against with this series, to try and beat pride, because I know adults, especially the older you get, the more pride sinks in. I've noticed from dealing with adults, until you get so old that you kind of can no longer have control over yourself, and then you get humbled by life itself. And then that's why super old people are really wise and nice, because they no longer can hold on to their pride, because now they actually need help. You know, let's not let ourselves get to that point. Let's humble ourselves now. Let's not have to live our lives, you know, fighting up against the Lord or in whatever. Let's now, while we have the chance, immediately humble ourselves, you know, before the Lord, and then we can enjoy the benefits of that relationship. It's not easy. It's tough, as you can see with David, but there are so many benefits as you're going to see, and it's always worth it in the end. And like I said, the winning team, we always have the last laugh. Saul can do whatever he's going to do, and he's going to do all these things and whatever, but at the end of the day, he's going to be the one looking pathetic. And imagine now, think about it like this, guys, if this isn't serious enough when I talk about pride. This is now the legacy that Saul has died with. We are now here in 2025 reading about Saul, a man who once existed, right? Who's probably, I don't know where he is, to be honest. I don't know how he died and whatever, if he repented for himself, I don't know, right? But this is how his story ended. For all of history, this is what he's going to be known by. And that's what I think about to myself. Like, not that I want to be known in history, but I'm like, if I have to have what my stamp in history is going to be and people ever find out about my story, let it be something I can be proud of. You know what I mean? And that's why I say, like, let's humble ourselves before the Lord. Let's humble ourselves before the Lord. You know, so there's not a 28-year-old black girl in the UK laughing at you, cackling at your story. You know what I mean? Anyways, guys, I say that in love. I say that because I want us to succeed. And on that note, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.